Hello, everybody. It's Leslie Tagorda again. And this is kind of the second part of the series that we've been talking about expertise. And why I want you to stay and join me today and listen about what I have to talk about expertise. And the other side of that coin is self-doubt. We all have self-doubt. I want to teach you how to recognize self-doubt, how to see if it's really true or not, and how to work through it so that we don't have to let self-doubt paralyze us in our businesses, right? So you guys know I'm Leslie Tagorda, and I've been helping women entrepreneurs and small nonprofits and small businesses since 2002. I've helped hundreds of businesses work through their self-doubt so they have confidence and clarity when they brand their business. So I have my notes here today because there's just so many things, of course, that I want to cover, that I want to make sure I'm getting everything. So I'm curious to know from you guys, who here has ever experienced self-doubt? Now, self-doubt sometimes is that thought in our, well, it is always that thought in our head that's usually not telling us nice things, right? When we've claimed our expertise, like we were talking about yesterday or earlier this week, about what are we an expert in, well, we can say that intellectually, and then there's something inside of us that's saying, you don't know enough. What are you talking about? How can you do that? You're not a leader. This nagging voice inside us that's always threatening us with fear, with all kinds of negative self-talk. Yeah, sometimes people call this the imposter syndrome, sometimes people call this fear, sometimes people call this self-doubt. Well, I really know how to recognize self-doubt because I've worked through this pretty much my entire life, thanks to, if you're into astrology, Saturn, the planet of discipline and structures. Usually where Saturn is placed, there's an element of self-doubt, but Saturn is right on my ascendant, so like right on my outer brand, right on my ascendant, right on my rising sign, right on my outward personality. And so I've struggled with self-doubt for so long, and instead of like having self-doubt just kind of like sink me down into the depths and just get really stuck in the mud with not moving my business forward, I've learned how to face my self-doubt and work through it. So who else here has been stuck in this self-doubt before? I'm sure you have, right? Because let me let you in a secret. Oh my gosh, I can't speak today. The secret is we all have self-doubt, right? Even the most confident appearing person has self-doubt. So if you think of people like Einstein, he's documented about his self-doubt. If somebody like Albert Einstein can have self-doubt, wow, right? So what I wanted to talk about today is, what does expertise have to do with self-doubt, right? We all have self-doubt, and it's often the opposite end of expertise, right? And so oftentimes when we're working through our businesses, we get stuck in the self-doubt because we start listening to what self-doubt is telling us, and we start, and because self-doubt, this judgment, is telling us a certain thing, it usually stops us in fear. It usually makes us paralyzed in some sort of emotion that doesn't allow us to take the necessary steps to move forward, right? So earlier here in the Savvy Luminary, I was asking the question of everybody, now that we've defined our expertise, what is the story that goes through your head, right? So earlier in the Savvy Luminary, I had explained, well, that is my story that kind of erupts in my head is, I will never be enough. Like I will never be good enough. I will never be enough, right? I'm going to talk a little later if that is true or false, right? Another one, Natalie had shared with us that her self-doubt says, I'm making the wrong choice. And also, this isn't good enough yet. we're going to come back to, because Natalie's self-doubt is actually quite optimistic because of that word yet, right? Karen shared, I don't know enough. She, similar to mine, I don't know enough. I will never be enough. Joanna shared, no one will ever believe how awesome I am. I will be seen as a fraud or unworthy of their time. And Latoya shared with us, I won't be able to give people what they need. I will lead them the wrong way. I do not know what I'm talking about, right? I'm sure that you can empathize with some of these. You've probably experienced some of these exact phrases that go through your head as you're running through your business, right? And then oftentimes, if we don't have the tools in order to recognize that that self-doubt is just a judgment that we're passing in our head, when we don't have the tools to recognize and acknowledge and work through them, then we just stop, or we don't try, or we wait until things are perfect. And let me tell you, there's no such thing as perfect. Right? There's absolutely no such thing as perfect. Now, of course, we don't want to like churn out things that are like subpar and crappy and not helping. Like, that's not the idea at all. But if we're going to be waiting until everything is absolutely perfect and the timing is absolutely perfect and everything is aligned, well, sometimes it can happen, but maybe you're just going to end up waiting for a very, very long time. So now, one of the ways that we are able to recognize self-doubt is that what we need to do is we have to stop it, right? Well, that's not how we recognize it. How we recognize it is we need to get really quiet with ourselves. And when we hear that nagging feeling or that nagging voice, usually it comes up because we're feeling like crap. We're feeling like we don't want to do anything. We're feeling like we're procrastinating. We're feeling like really tired. At least for me, that's how it erupts, is tired. All I want to do is go take a nap. And so when you have that kind of feeling, we can like peel back a layer and say, what is that voice behind saying, right? And for me, it's always self-doubt. And so for you guys, if when we're looking at self-doubt, looking at some of these questions, like for example, for me and for Karen, I don't know enough. Okay. Now, when we have this question, I don't know enough, then can we look at it and say, well, is this the truth? Do you really not know enough? Or is this false? Right? So what I know from knowing enough is that it's normally false, because depending on who we're serving, all we need to be is like one step ahead of the people that we're serving. There's always going to be people that know way, 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 way more than us. And there's always going to be people that know way, 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 way low, like less than us. So the sweet spot in finding the people that we can best help is finding people that are just 1 or 2 steps behind us, because we've recently gone through that road. We know exactly where the potholes are. We know exactly where the blind curve is. And because we've just recently gone through that path, we're really, really good at helping the people who are just 1 or 2 steps behind us. So that's a really good clue into figuring out who we best can help, right? So that's the idea of if you don't know enough, right? Is it true? Now, if it is true, like you're like, okay, I'm going to be this astrology teacher and I only know the elements, or I only know the zodiac signs, but I don't know anything else. Well, yeah, you could probably teach people who know even less than you, but that might just be a little bit. But maybe if you're really trying to expand your astrology business, you're going to have to learn more, right? And then that's where that secret word from Natalie came in, is yet. So if the self-doubt, if that voice in your head is continuing to tell you, I don't know enough, I don't know enough, if it's true, then you have a choice, right? You get to either learn more and sharpen your wheel, or sharpen your saw, sorry. Sharpen your saw and learn more and get deeper into your experience of that, so that it's no longer true, right? You can add the word yet, like Natalie suggests. Or if it's false, then what do we do with this, right? So more often than not, you're going to find that that little self-doubt voice that's whispering or sometimes shouting at you is not telling you the truth, right? It's telling you something that's keeping you safe, that's keeping you comfortable, that's keeping you in this exact same spot stuck, not moving forward and progressing with your business. Yeah, business is scary. There's a lot of unknowns. We don't know what's going to happen next. We can make assumptions and have desires of what's going to happen next, but sometimes we just really don't know, right? And so by doing a business, you're always having you're always taking leaps of faith by trying something because we don't know. But that doesn't mean that self-doubt has to get in our way and just prevent us from actually taking that leap, right? So when self-doubt is just flat out wrong, which I'm going to say I don't have the stats, but from my experience in talking to people, 99% of the time, self-doubt is false. When we have self-doubt, that whisper in our voice, in our heads that are telling us something that is plain out false, this is what we need to do, okay? Well, of course, first you have to acknowledge it, right? You have to first realize that that self-doubt is that nagging fear that's coming back to you. Are you guys here with me on this? Ask your questions, please. I'm a little just talking head right now. The counselor, yes, thank you. That nagging voice, when you can finally recognize it and acknowledge it, you say, hey, thank you, right? It's just like the Marie Kondo thing. There's weird things about Sparking Joy that I like and I don't like, but one of the things that I love from Marie Kondo's Sparking Joy, and if you don't know her, she has a Netflix special and a book about tidying up, but she's like, when you get rid of your clutter, you thank it, like, so you have an old clothes or an old bag that you don't want anymore and you're going to get rid of it, you're going to donate it or recycle it or whatnot. You don't just throw it in the trash. You say, thank you. Thank you for serving me and thank you for being here and I don't need you anymore. So ta-da! And there's something so special in showing that gratitude, right? And so we think about the self-doubt that we're trying to acknowledge and clear. We're really decluttering all of that negative self-doubt, right? All of that negative self-talk, that imposter syndrome. We're decluttering our minds and our hearts and our bodies so that we can move forward in our business. So isn't that a beautiful thing to say, thank you? So when that word comes in for me, I don't know enough. I will never be enough. Is it true or false? It's false. I do know enough. I am an expert. I know more than enough. Yes, there are people who know more than me, but I know more than enough to serve the people that I serve best. I know more than enough. I know that my expertise is extremely valuable to those who need it. So now I have this self-doubt. I don't know enough. Well, thank you, self-doubt. Thank you. I do actually know enough. Thank you for trying to protect me and keeping me in this space, but you're no longer serving me. I don't need you. I know enough. So what I did here was I acknowledged the fear. I acknowledged that self-doubt. I thanked the self-doubt. And then I turned the self-doubt phrase around, so now that it was the truth, right? Now self-doubt becomes self-worth. It becomes the truth. So if I go back through that list of everybody who commented earlier on what their self-critic was saying, with Natalie, I'm making the wrong choice. Well, we don't know if that's true or false because it hasn't happened yet. So we can change that. We can say, thank you for fear, for enabling me to see that there are many ways that this choice can go. And we don't have enough information yet. So, and I'm also somebody who's going to experiment and continue on. Even if the choice ends up not being my desired result, I will continue on. So we acknowledge the self-doubt, we thanked the self-doubt, and then we turned the self-doubt around into basically a mantra almost, or an affirmation, like we don't know enough about the choice, and if it doesn't have the desired result, I will continue on, right? The other one that she said is, this isn't good enough yet. I love the yet. So if in fact it is true, your self-doubt, that message that's coming to your head is true, all you have to do is put yet, because that means that you are going to take the effort and the next step to make it right, right? Also, Karen said, I don't know enough. We talked about that. Joanna said, No one will ever believe how awesome I am, and I will be seen as a fraud or unworthy of their time. Now, I know Joanna, we've worked together. She is a Crystallize alumni, and I love her very much. She is the most beautiful, energetic, loving, compassionate person that I've ever met. And I know that no one will ever believe how awesome I am is completely false. Right? Her self-doubt is telling her no one will ever believe how awesome I am. Well, we know that's false because I know her and I vouch for her awesomeness. And she's had many clients that have given her money to do what she does best to support her. If they give her money to help with what they need help with, that just automatically means she's awesome. We know that she has lots of friends. We know that she has people that are waiting to work with her. So we know that her self-doubt talk, no one will ever believe how awesome I am and I will be seen as a fraud, is false. So we can thank that. Thank you, self-doubt. Your thought no longer serves me because it's keeping me stuck. I am awesome and other people believe I am awesome. I know that what I have to offer can really help people, right? So then that's how we turned that untruth into a truth. We acknowledged the fear, we thanked it, and now we released it by turning it into a truthful affirmation. Are you guys here with me so far on this? And then Latoya, oh my gosh, she and I had this amazing call yesterday. Latoya said, I won't be able to give people what they need. I will lead them the wrong way. I do not know what I'm talking about. So when we were talking, this was really amazing with Latoya. Because as we were talking, she was talking about her content strategy services and her storytelling services, and she was telling me all of the amazing results that the people that she served were getting. One client of hers made a $5,000 sale. Another client of hers was creating this course that was selling out. Another client of hers increased attendance rates from 60 to 95%. That's like a 30% increase. So like the proof was saying that Latoya's inner critic was a lie, right? So Latoya's inner voice, that fear, that self-doubt was saying, I won't be able to give people what they need. But in fact, the truth was the people that she was serving were making these huge changes and huge successes. So we can say for Latoya, we can say, Latoya said something really funny. You can check it out in the Facebook comments, but she was basically telling herself, that inner voice to like just go in the sewer where it belongs. But we want to be a little positive here and we want to work through things. We want to acknowledge that our fear really protected us at one time, right? Our fear saved us, protected us from something at one time that is no longer serving us, right? Our fear now in our businesses is only keeping us stuck. But before, it was probably serving a purpose, protecting us from something that we needed protecting from. It doesn't serve us anymore. So we thank it. We say, thank you, fear. Thank you for, for protecting me before. But I know that I am able to give people what they want. I will lead them in the correct way. And I know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, again, turning around the untruth into a truth. All right, so just remember, if this, when you get that negative self-talk, ask yourself, is it true? Is it not true? But before that, you're gonna really have to be able to catch it, right? Sometimes this negative self-talk, we don't even hear it because it's just so loud and we've heard it for so long that it kind of just blends in the background of our mind. And so now I'm just gonna challenge you guys to like, be with it for a little bit. Try to recognize it. And when you recognize it, try to catch it. And it takes practice. The more that you do it, the quicker that you'll get, and the quicker you'll be able to work through your self-doubt. So I want you to imagine something for a quick moment. So I want you to imagine that you're working day to day and your self-doubt comes up, right? It starts telling you all these myths about your abilities, and you start succumbing into your self-doubt. But instead of succumbing to your self-doubt, you're easily able to recognize and acknowledge, catch that self-doubt, thank it, and turn it into a truth. Imagine being able to do that so quickly that it becomes second nature. Self-doubt will never go away. It will always be there. But the people that are a success are able to recognize their self-doubt and work through it. It's not that we dismiss it. It's not that we try to forget it. You know that just doesn't work. We have to acknowledge and work through our fears, right? So if you are, if you're ready to make this change and you're really ready to recognize your self-doubts and work through those self-doubts so you can become courageous, right? My promise to all of my clients is that I help them find confidence and clarity in their brand. I help them get courageous, right? The confidence comes from working through our self-doubt. The confidence comes from being super clear of your expertise and who you can really serve, the biggest transformations, right? Those your expertise and who you can serve are very interconnected, right? And then also, of course, your confidence comes when your brand looks good and feels good, right? All of those things add up to confidence, right? And then you can go out and be super proud of your business and your brand and put yourself out there and share your gifts with the world because you deserve it. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to the universe to share your gifts. There's so many wonderful gifts that you guys are holding on to that you know already that you can help the clients that are looking for you. But if you don't put yourself out there, how are you going to let them know that you're available? Right? So if the timing is right for you, you know that I have my Crystallize is open right now. The doors are open. We're in the early bird session. I'm really looking for a wonderful, amazing group of women to help in the summer with my 12-week program. Crystallize is a 3-part system over 12 weeks where we define the vision of your brand. Of course, we're going to be working on self-doubt and fears, but we're going to work through those things and define the vision of your brand. How do you want your brand to look? And then the next 3 weeks, we're going to work all on your brand personality and voice. How are you going to show up that's uniquely and authentically you, right? And then the third part of the 12 weeks is we're going to work all on your visuals. That's the fun part. Sometimes we start there, but you don't want to start with the visuals because how will you know what you're designing until you get everything else correct? So if you think that you might be interested, I would love it if you would book a call with me. It's a free 30-minute, no obligation call. I would love to learn about your business and you and what you're getting stuck with. And if you might be a good fit for my program, like I know that I'm going to really be able to help you, I will invite you to my 12-week program. The doors open for application are open now. They're open until June 17th. And then we start up again. We start the program in July. So if you book now and you pay now, I will give you $500 off through the end of March, right? That's the early bird, $500 bonus. And because you are a member of the Savvy Luminary, I will throw in an extra bonus if you are a woman of action. Like I want you to take action and book your call today. And if you book your call today, I can see when you schedule it, I will offer you an extra hour of one-on-one strategy session with me. I know that people get a lot of value when they have this one-on-one with me because I have this uncanny knack for being able to really see what's holding you back and see the opportunities that are waiting for you. All right, everyone, thank you for joining me this long. And I would love to hear how you will change your self-doubt into affirmation so you can move your business forward. All right, bye.